The coziest character on Front Street. Story of the Cosy Grill. There was a man in Belleville who, despite his small stature, had the biggest heart of anyone I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. He greeted everyone that came into his restaurant with a warm welcome, a hearty handshake, and a big smile. We knew him as Lou Tikolas, and it's truly a pleasure and an honor to share a bit of his story with you. Louis Emmanuel Tikolas was born in July 1921 to Emmanuel and Julia Tikolas on an island in Greece called Chios. It is situated in the northern Aegean Sea. Louis was born in Alexandria, Egypt, but moved with his family to Chios after his father finished working on construction sites in Egypt, including the Suez Canal project. Louis would tell the story of jumping off a Greek merchant ship in Halifax after World War II in 1945. He then made his way to Quebec, where he worked as a short order cook for his friend Bill Fortis at a restaurant attached to the Montreal Wax Museum. Bill introduced Louis to his sister, Stamos Fortis, who, although still living in Greece, agreed to come to Montreal on a ship to meet and eventually marry the dashing young Louis Tikolas in 1949. In 1951, Lou bought the Diana Grill at 185 Front Street near Century Place. The competition was tough with 9 Greek restaurants lining downtown Front Street, but under Lou's leadership, the upscale diner quickly evolved into a popular 24-hour restaurant, seating 100 customers at a time. This is where I, as a little 8-year-old, met Louis Tikolas for the first time. My mom, Hazel Guthrie, was a recently divorced mother of 2 and was hired by Louis. She soon became one of Diana Grill's close-knit family of servers. He would insist that my 4-year-old brother and I sit down for many late lunches with Mom and would act like we were doing him a favor as he scurried around saying, "Eat, eat, I cooked too much food today." This family-friendly diner catered to business people, summer tourists, and an evening crowd coming for dinner before dances at the Army, Navy, and Veterans Hall. The Diana Grill was destroyed by a devastating fire and was demolished in the late 1950s. Lou moved his business a block north to an historic limestone building at 207 Front Street. The iconic 1832 building in the downtown district was soon the home of athletes, politicians, celebrities, business people, and a long lunchtime lineup of regular customers, flocking to Lou's new restaurant, the Cosy Grill. Opening day quite literally started out with a blast when Lou ignited the pilot light on his new oven and the built-up gas fumes blew open the doors. The explosion sent him flying 6 feet across the floor, his face as black as coal, but he picked himself up, cleaned up the bathroom, and opened the doors to the Cosy Grill just a couple of hours later than expected. Lou always greeted the customers at the front door with a pat on the back, a warm handshake, and a reminder that there's room at the back just in case the lunch crowd thought the place was too full. Then, every time we entered the restaurant, he would say in his charming accent, "Sit, sit, how your mama?" Mano, Lou's son, would tell the story of a police officer working night duty, saying how surprised he was to see Lou leaving the restaurant at 2 a.m. and returning to work at 5:30 a.m., cheerfully whistling. Lou had some guests in high places, including Pierre Trudeau, Bobby Hull, Walter Gretzky, and Miss Canada, not to mention local politicians like Mayor George Zaguris, Alderman Stu Meeks, and Quinte MPP Hugh O'Neill, all dropping by his restaurant for a meal or a coffee. Growing up in downtown Belleville means the Diana Grill, the Cosy Grill, and the Tikolas became family. The Cosy is aptly named because of the comfortable, homey feeling that came over us as we entered the diner, put a dime in the tabletop jukebox, hum along to a song, and take a sip of the freshly brewed coffee. We visit with Lou, Mano, Len, Stamos, George, and a host of other quirky downtown characters who drop in. Sometimes we would just talk, but sometimes we would just sit. My friendship with Louis and his wife Stamos began in 1951 at the Diana Grill, continued to the Cosy Grill, and his kindness is still fresh in my mind today. He provided a job for my mom, lunches and chocolate milk for my brother and me, pop and lifesavers to my kids, and chocolate bars for my grandkids. He was also known to hand out soup and crackers from time to time to locals who just needed some help. I am blessed to have shared 5 generations and 55 years of memory with this amazing man. Lou sold the business in 1990 to his son Mano Tikolas and son-in-law Len Kirk, but would still come into the store regularly to have a coffee, visit with old friends, defend his beloved Montreal Canadian wins and losses at great length, and just check on the boys. Lou was once quoted in The Intelligencer as saying, "I like people and I like kids. The Cosy is my home." Louis Emmanuel Tikolas, 1921 to 2006. May your memory be eternal, my wonderful larger-than-life friend.